Hi, today I'm going to talk about breastfeeding. Many people assume breastfeeding is a simple process that just magically happens after birth, and for some people, this is true. For others, it can be a real struggle with latching correctly, anatomical problems with the baby's mouth, supply issues, and just plain difficulty in attempting to maneuver a limp yet wiggly newborn in your breast with only 2 sets of hands. In this video, I will demonstrate 3 common positions for breastfeeding and how to identify a good latch. With a first-time mother, my favorite position to recommend in the newborn stage is the cross cradle hold. In this position, you will have the baby lying stomach to stomach with you, and it's important that their ear, shoulder, and hip are all in alignment. Not that you have them down here and they have to turn their head to reach your breast. Your fingers will support their neck and head, which allows you to manipulate the angle of their head and have the other hand free to hold your breast. So you'll want to have baby's arm either out or in front of them here. Although when they're hungry, they get sticking their hands in their mouth all the time. So sometimes in the beginning, it's easier if you can isolate that arm so it's not getting up in the way between you. When you hold your breast here, I actually have a lovely fake little breast, my stress ball. You'll always want to have your hand well back from the nipple and from the areola. And in this position, you'll cup your breast in a U shape, like so. This allows you to sort of shape your breast into an easier size for the baby to get a nice deep latch on. When they're newborns, they've got such tiny little mouths. You'll want to aim the nipple towards the roof of their mouth and wait for a nice big open yawn, and you need to make sure that their tongue is down. You don't want it up. The tongue has to be underneath and cupping the nipple. When you bring the baby in, you'll want to bring your whole arm in, not just tip their head in, as that will have their nose buried deep into your breast tissue and they may pull off and makes it more difficult for them to swallow. In the beginning, you may need to hold your breast for a while, just to keep it in that shape. Sometimes when you let go, the baby does come off, but eventually, after you both get the hang of things, you won't need to do that anymore. But when you're supporting your breast, you don't want to be putting pressure, like a lot of pressure, on your ducts or anything. Just more so supporting the weight and keeping it here rather than, if you're like me, down here. You'll want to make sure your back and arms are well supported with pillows. Once you're a little more comfortable and this has been going well, you might want to try the cradle position. This is the one that we really associate with holding babies in, like this. In this position, again, you're still going to want baby's ear, shoulder, and hip to be in alignment, and you'll be holding baby and breastfeeding on the same arm. You're holding baby in your left arm, breastfeeding on the left side. This frees up your other hand so you can do other things like maybe grab a refreshment or, worry about what your older child's doing over here. And if necessary, you can still reach in to support your breast. However, you can see how this is much more difficult with the baby, held close into you. And this is why I don't recommend this position in the newborn stage, because It's difficult to get in here, and you can see how little lack of head control you have as you're trying to manipulate around, as opposed to cradling their neck and being able to maneuver like this. The third position I would like to mention is the football hold. This position is really handy when you're recovering from a cesarean, as the baby won't be lying across your incision. It also works well with large-breasted women because you can really see what's going on, and then there's not so much breast tissue in the way as the other positions. And you know, if your breasts are really full too, this is a great position. So you'll cradle the back of the baby's head with the same arm as the breast that you're going to feed on, left arm, left breast. Baby will be lying on their back, under your arm, like a football, and maybe slightly tilted towards you this way, but their newborn legs are usually quite tucked up. They're used to being squished and cramped up in the uterus, so they usually keep their legs up quite tight, so you don't have to really worry about what's going on behind you here. This time with your breast, instead of having your hand underneath in a U shape, you would make a C shape like this, so that you are forming the breast into the same direction as the baby's mouth opening. And in this position, when you get the big wide open yawn that you're looking for, you don't want to bring baby's head forward like this. You want to bring them up, their whole body. Again, bring their arm up and in. Now let's talk about what the signs of a good latch are. So I already mentioned that the tongue will be cupping the nipple, which means it'll be over the baby's lower gum line, like that. All of the nipples should be in the mouth, with plenty of the areola as well. And they'll tend to cover more of the bottom side than the top side, sort of. How well you can see that, sort of more like this. And now imagining, of course, that this nipple would go into this baby's mouth, which it won't. The lips will be flanged outward like so. You don't want anything puckered in and making funny kind of noises. The baby's chin will be buried deep into your breast tissue. That stimulates your milk production, as the baby's chin is, you know, sort of digging into your breast like this. At first, the baby will suck in really fast, short motions, trying to stimulate the milk to come. I always kind of compare it to sipping a really thick milkshake in a straw. You're kind of trying to get that milkshake up the straw. When the milk lets down, baby will slow down and take longer sucks, followed by swallowing. You should be able to hear the sound of baby swallowing, and you can often watch along the side of the face here, and you can see when the baby takes a break for swallowing. There shouldn't be any painful pinching sensations, although at first you could be quite alarmed at how much suction they can actually produce. So it's kind of weird to get used to and a little uncomfortable, but it shouldn't be painful. So as awkward and confusing as all this sounds, you should have the hang of it in no time. It's just always important to remember to stay relaxed and avoid getting flustered, as this makes it more difficult for both of you. The baby will definitely pick up on this. If you find that problems are persisting, please make sure that you contact your care provider, your public health nurse, talk to your local Latch League expert, or you could hire the services of a lactation consultant. You can always ask your doctor about a referral to one of our breastfeeding clinics as well. Prenatally, I also recommend that you research watching some baby-led latching videos. These demonstrate how newborns find and self-attach to the breast with minimal help from you. It's really fascinating. Good luck!